All right, it's still morning, so good morning. I appreciate everybody showing up this morning. We got beautiful weather here, and of course, I just want to, as my family's making their way up, I'd like to mention Columbia and the rest of our state, and of course, our thoughts and prayers are with them. Of course, never seen anything like that as far as rain is concerned, so hopefully they'll make it out okay in Columbia and able to clean it up. My name is Chad McBride, and today I'm officially announcing that I am your candidate for the office of sheriff here in Anderson County. I grew up in this county. As a matter of fact, where we are now, I used to play as a kid. Actually, literally grew up 1/10 of a mile over here on the left on a small farm. This is my home. This is where my family and I live, where I work, and where we worship. I would do anything to protect my family. That is the utmost priority for me. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce my family now. This is my wife, Leanne, and Gracie James, our youngest, Emily and Maddie. And I, also being a candidate for sheriff, I'm also qualified to change diapers. So, thank you guys for coming up. This is the foundation of my calling to run as your sheriff. I think I just lost my mic. Okay, there we go. This is that was the foundation for me running for sheriff in this county. Every family in Anderson County deserves a peace of mind that their family and their belongings, their investments, and their way of life is secure from those who want to cause them harm or take away from them. I've seen this battle firsthand over the 14 years of law enforcement. I've served as a uniformed patrol officer. I've served as an investigator, internal affairs, professional standards, and also as the spokesman for the sheriff's office. Additionally, I'm a veteran of the United States Army Reserves and the South Carolina Army National Guard. I currently instruct other law enforcement officers in these issues as an adjunct professor at Anderson University, where I teach criminal justice. I'm also employed as the safety director for New Spring Church. Each of these opportunities has afforded me the necessary combination of knowledge and abilities to serve you as your sheriff and ensure that each of us have a safe place to live, work, and play in our respective homes here in Anderson County. Let me talk for a minute about where we are right now in Anderson County with respect to law and order. The fact is, our county has been going through some really tough times lately. You can't cut on the 6 o'clock news or look at the newspaper without finding out about a new crime that has recently occurred or seeing violence that's taking place in Anderson County. Law-abiding citizens are just getting hammered every day by these criminals. This has got to change. I've heard both from victims of crime and concerned citizens who are worried that they will become victims of crime, and they both have one overwhelming frustration. They feel that there's a lack of response from the sheriff's office and a poor level of customer service that they feel slighted and ignored by the very office that is supposed to provide for their safety. This is unacceptable, and this must change. Many citizens in our county feel that for one reason or another, their area has been neglected. There's no law enforcement presence, and to them, that equates to not feeling safe. This is unacceptable, and this must change. The sheriff is the commander and CEO of the office to which you have elected him to. A CEO is responsible for managing, budgeting, and ultimately the culture of the organization. If the managing, budgeting, and culture are all promoting bad morale, then you will see people leave and the services to our citizens decline. This is the current state of affairs in Anderson County, with probably the highest turnover rate in the history of the office. This high level of attrition not only continues to deflate morale, but also causes a chain reaction to the service that it is supposed to provide to our residents. If morale is bad, then customer satisfaction isn't even a priority. For the office of the sheriff, customer satisfaction should be the #1 priority. It currently is not. This is unacceptable, and this must change. One view on the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different outcomes. Things like this have been done the same way in Anderson County law enforcement for way too long. This is unacceptable. Ladies and gentlemen, with me as your sheriff, this will change. First off, I want everybody to know that I do not blame all the current deputies and staff at the Anderson County Sheriff's Office for the current state of affairs. These systematic problems have arisen over the past 8 years, with a stagnant culture of unchanging management, unchanging priorities, poorly mapped strategies, and policies that have been coupled with zero accountability when benchmarks are not met. There's been no progressive planning and no way to gauge the smallest success or biggest failure. Each of these things you should expect from the person you elect and entrust with your safety. Each of these things are ultimately the responsibility of the commander and the CEO of our sheriff's office. To that end, let me show you how I will be a good steward of your trust and your tax dollars. There will be an immediate top to bottom review of each and every function that the department does and allocated resources within the sheriff's office to ensure its value in promoting your safety. I will implement a 5-year plan to mark each and every improvement that we make. These benchmarks will allow all taxpayers to grade our service. In addition, it will allow both you, the taxpayer and receiver of services, and us to truly validate our success and failures as we strive to meet our goals. Value for service is important, but more important is proof that the service that you are receiving actually makes you safer. This open evaluation of our progress also illustrates where our funding priorities are focused, which shows you where all of our tax dollars are actually being spent. As sheriff, I will focus on progressive law enforcement planning, strong fiscal management, cooperative relationships with our cities, municipalities, and prosecutorial authorities. Here are the 7 basic points of my plan. I want everybody that is listening to know that if you elect me as your next sheriff, I will be so tough on crime, and I'll be the toughest sheriff you've ever seen in crime, especially in our area. No one would be tougher, period. I'll go ahead and apologize to our neighboring counties and Georgia because we're going to run a lot of criminals out of Anderson County. They will need a new home. I will use these strategies and advanced policing methods to upgrade our force. Law enforcement has changed significantly over the last decade. I plan to use a more modern approach with better investigation strategies and some good old common sense to cut crime and scare away new criminals coming to Anderson County. I plan to manage the sheriff's office like a business and be trustworthy steward of your taxpayer dollars. Progressive planning, accountability, and efficiency are all 3 keys to running a successful business. They are also the keys to providing excellent public safety. Progressive planning means programs and personnel in place that are effective crime-fighting strategies with real results. Efficiency means resources properly allocated to meet the needs of our citizens in a manner that not only detects but prosecutes crime, but also serves as a deterrent to keep this from happening in the first place. Accountability means everyone is responsible for their actions, for their successes, and most importantly, for the failures from the top down. Number 4, we will put tools in place to reduce police response times. We're going to utilize the correct number of personnel that are required to respond and investigate crimes thoroughly. One of my first acts will be to conduct an internal performance audit of the sheriff's office to get more butts out of the seats that are behind desks and out on the streets policing our neighborhoods. I will also announce today that the first day under my leadership, the sheriff's administration or command staff, whatever you want to call it, will be reduced by half. The great deal of office budget money is already being spent on command staff and non-essential personnel that have no direct benefit or serve any real purpose for us as Anderson County residents. Number 5, we will build a cooperative relationship with the solicitor's office to ensure that cases move forward expeditiously and that there are appropriate justices provided for the victims and adequate punishment for our criminals. My office and the solicitor's office must work together to reach a common set of goals. This can only be accomplished with cooperation. As I mentioned before, we're going to be tough on crime and criminals. As your next sheriff, our law enforcement team will be as nice as the criminals let us be or as mean as they make us. Either way, we'll get the job done right. And if you're a repeat criminal, watch out. We're going to watch you like a hawk and make sure you never commit any more crimes in Anderson County, or we're going to make it extremely hard to do so. We need to work street-level narcotics under number 6 and rid our streets of as many drugs as possible. Most of the crimes that are committed today are drug-related in nature. We will focus on street-level drugs so we can hurt the mid-level and high-level drug operators. We will help relocate them to another jurisdiction by interrupting their business, leaving them no incentive to come back. And we will target the interstate to intercept the drugs heading north on 85 and the drug money heading south on 85. Number 7, we're going to modernize the way we investigate crimes. We will develop a major case unit that will focus on the 20% of criminals that commit 80% of crime. We know who they are. We know where they live, and we know their MOs. But instead of waiting on them to go on a burglary spree where 30 of your homes are burglarized, we will get to them quicker and prevent a lot of crimes from even occurring. If you're a victim today, you will hear, "Call us if you hear anything, and here's your report number." That's not excellence. We will be centered around customer service, and we will stand for nothing less. We will investigate your crimes thoroughly because we want to get these criminals before they get another victim. Percentages of theft are up in Anderson County and down in surrounding jurisdictions. Yet Anderson County seems to lead our surrounding counties in the failure to implement proactive programs and initiatives to combat this disease that has choked the quality of life from the hardworking taxpayer. We need to be progressive, proactive, and address the problems that the communities of Anderson County are dealing with. I want Anderson residents to feel confident we are on their side, providing excellence in every aspect of police work and customer service. I will demand that our budget is spent wisely and settle for nothing less. Our communities deserve representation. Representation on the battlefield where we are daily losing the war to keep thugs off your property that are stealing your children's future. The current state of affairs in Anderson County is unacceptable, and this must change. Change can't happen without you. So again, today, with my beautiful wife and my beautiful children that were up here a moment ago, this awesome crowd of friends and family and supporters, I formally pledge to you that I am your sheriff candidate for Anderson County. Together, we can affect the change we all want and know we desperately need. I need your support, and I look forward to working with you to make this happen and to make Anderson County a great place to live and work in and raise our families in. Thank you for all coming out, and God bless you.